You are listening to the Yavornitskiy Code podcast that was created to commemorate 170 years from the birth of Dmytro Yavornitskiy, a prominent Ukrainian historian, a chronicler of Zaporozhian Cossacks, and a keeper of the national memory. This project is implemented by local and cultural society DIYA, that means activation, with the support of the Ukrainian Cultural Foundation. Media partner is D1 TV channel. Dmytro Yavornitskiy is one of the national heroes of Ukraine. In previous parts, we talked about life and accomplishments of the scientist, his contribution to the science, culture, and even formation of civil Ukrainian society at the time when Ukrainian lands were part of Russian Empire. And today, we are going to talk about how people kept memories about Dmytro Yavornitskiy at various times. How he became part of the pantheon of heroes of the independent Ukraine. What sites to commemorate the memory of the prominent scientists are there in Ukraine now? After the death of Dmytro Yavornitskiy on the 5th of August 1940, the Soviet power pretended there had been no repressions as to the academician. In 1940, Dnipro Historical Museum was named after Dmytro Yavornitskiy. The scientist established and developed the museum, granted his valuable collections of the Zaporozhian Cossacks relics to it, and was a museum curator for over 30 years. Yet Soviet power had double-faced kind of attitude towards the name of Dmytro Yavornitskiy. The authorities were quite suspicious toward the scientist who had clear Ukrainian national spirit. Therefore, there was no systematic study of his legacy. His name wasn't popularized, and they presented information on Dmytro Yavornitskiy quite carefully and not emphasizing his Ukrainophilism. During Soviet times, they rarely published books and articles about Dmytro Yavornitskiy. For example, Ivan Shapoval, an author, wrote a thriller where he portrayed Dmytro Yavornitskiy as an archaeologist and a collector of museum exhibits. This book was translated into Russian and Polish, and it was republished several times. The only study on Yavornitskiy which was published during Soviet time was the monograph by Maria Shubravska, a philologist, in 1972. Yet that monograph cost the author dear. After the monograph was published, the author was accused of unreliability, and it actually embittered her life. The situation changed in the 1980s when the movement for independence of Ukraine started to strengthen. Then personality of Dmytro Yavornitskiy was brought back from oblivion. They started to republish his books on Zaporozhian Cossacks to study his legacy, and there was established a memorial museum in a house where Dmytro Yavornitskiy lived over 35 years in Dnipro, Ukraine. That house was given to the state by Dmytro Yavornitskiy's wife with a condition to establish a museum to commemorate an academician Yavornitskiy. Yet the Soviet power did not intend to make a Soviet hero out of Dmytro Yavornitskiy. From 1964 to 1974, there was just one memorial room where he was presented as a Soviet researcher of Ukrainian things and Cossacks. Then that museum was closed and the building started to ruin. The authorities even planned to demolish that building in order to build a Communist Party office. That was when Ukrainian diaspora from Canada stepped in. They sent a letter of protest which stated their intention to come and carefully take apart the house of the father of Zaporozhian Cossacks and to have it in Canada if Ukraine didn't want it. That interference actually saved the house. In 1988, On the wave of perestroika, a full-value memorial museum of Dmytro Yavornitskiy was opened, and it operates nowadays in Dnipro, Ukraine. The exhibits include personal belongings of Dmytro Yavornitskiy, his books, manuscripts, photographs, paintings which were presented to him by friends. In the antechamber, there are unique murals which portray Zaporozhian Cossacks. You can see a pine tree in a garden by the museum, which was planted by Dmytro Yavornitskiy. Gradually, there have been established other forms to commemorate Dmytro Yavornitskiy. In 1961, the coffin with Yavornitskiy body was reinterred by the Historical Museum by his name. In 1995, on 140th anniversary of the birth of the academician Dmytro Yavornitskiy, there was mounted a statue on his grave. The sculptor Volodymyr Nakonechny performed all the work for people's money. In 1998, the monument was mounted in Borisivka, the home village of Dmytro Yavornitskiy. In Ukraine, they started to name streets and squares after his name. As of today, there are over 50 streets named after his name in different places in Ukraine. In 2015, the main street in Dnipro, Ukraine, was named as Dmytro Yavornitskiy Avenue. Several dozens of books were written about the scientist. There is a film and a video. Today, the name of Dmytro Yavornitskiy is definitely a part of pantheon of Ukrainian heroes, and his outstanding personality is the symbol of preservation of memory and national dignity of Ukraine.